Join me as I dig deep into the dark truth of the bystander effect. Can I uncover what most people overlook? The term bystander effect is one that's likely familiar to many of you, but do you really know what it means? Simply put, it's the phenomenon where individuals are less likely to help a victim when others are present. It might seem counterintuitive, but the more people who are around to help, the less likely anyone is to actually do so. And today we're going to explore why that is. When we look at the psychological reasons behind the bystander effect, one of the main culprits is something called diffusion of responsibility. This is the idea that when there are multiple people present, each individual assumes someone else will take responsibility for helping. It's a classic case of someone else will do it, and it can have devastating consequences. Another key factor at play is social influence. When we're in a group, we're more likely to follow the lead of those around us. If no one else is helping, why should I? This can create a ripple effect, where one person's inaction influences another's, until no one is willing to lend a hand. Pluralistic ignorance is another psychological mechanism that comes into play. This is when we assume that because others are doing nothing, there must not be a problem. If everyone else is calm and not reacting, then surely there's no need for me to get involved. But of course, this can lead to a situation where everyone is waiting for someone else to act, and nobody does. Finally, there's the issue of social norms. When we're in a group, we're often more concerned with fitting in and avoiding social awkwardness than with taking action. This can lead to a situation where everyone is too afraid to be the first to help, for fear of being judged or ostracized. There have been many studies and real-life examples that illustrate the bystander effect in action. One famous example is the case of Kitty Genovese, who was attacked and murdered in New York City in 1964. Despite there being dozens of witnesses, nobody called the police or intervened to help. This case shocked the nation and led to a wave of research into the bystander effect. Another study published in 2011 found that when participants were alone, they were much more likely to help someone in distress than when they were in a group. This study highlighted just how powerful the bystander effect can be and how it can lead to tragic consequences. In 2015, a group of researchers conducted an experiment on a busy street in New York City. They had an actor pretend to be in distress and found that when there were more people around, fewer people stopped to help. This study demonstrated just how pervasive the bystander effect is and how it can affect us in our daily lives. There's another case that I want to share with you, one that's particularly powerful, and it's the story of a young woman named Angela. In 2009, Angela was driving home from work when she saw a car crash on the side of the road. She pulled over to help and found a young mother and her baby trapped inside. Without hesitation, Angela rushed to their aid and managed to rescue them from the wreckage. What's striking about this story is that there were multiple people who drove past the accident without stopping to help, and yet Angela took action, despite being a complete stranger. Her bravery and selflessness that day saved 2 lives, and it's a powerful reminder that the bystander effect doesn't have to be inevitable. This case is particularly poignant because it highlights the emotional and moral dimensions of the bystander effect. It shows us that when we fail to act, we're not just failing to help someone in need, we're also failing to live up to our own moral values. So what can we take away from all of this? The bystander effect is a complex phenomenon, driven by a range of psychological and social factors. But by understanding these factors, we can begin to overcome them and become more active participants in helping those in need. Thanks for watching, and I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever found yourself in a situation where you didn't help someone in need? What do you think stops people from taking action in emergency situations? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to learn more about human behavior and psychology, be sure to check out my next video on the power of social influence.